In the autumn of 1941, the German Wehrmacht launched Operation Typhoon, an ambitious offensive aimed at capturing Moscow. The operation represented the culmination of Hitler's belief that the Soviet Union could be defeated in a single decisive campaign. German forces had advanced rapidly through Soviet territory since the invasion began in June. They achieved stunning victories at Minsk, Smolensk, and Kiev. The capture of Moscow, the Soviet capital and industrial heartland, was seen as the key to breaking Soviet resistance. The Germans, however, had underestimated both the vast distances and the harsh conditions of the Russian landscape. The initial German successes had come at a cost. Their supply lines were stretched thin. The Red Army, though battered, was far from defeated. As the German advance on Moscow gathered pace, a new and formidable enemy awaited them, the Russian winter. The winter of 1941 to 1942 was one of the most severe in living memory. Temperatures plummeted to unprecedented lows, often reaching -40 degrees Celsius. The German army, unprepared for such extreme cold, found itself ill-equipped to cope. Their summer uniforms offered little protection against the biting wind and freezing temperatures. Vehicles and weapons froze solid, rendering them useless. The Soviet troops, accustomed to the harsh Russian winters, were better prepared. They were equipped with warm clothing, felt boots and skis. They used the frozen terrain to their advantage, launching surprise attacks on the exposed German positions. The weather, once an ally to the German blitzkrieg, had become a formidable enemy, slowing their advance and sapping their morale. Despite the horrendous conditions, the German forces came perilously close to capturing Moscow. By early December, German forward units were within sight of the Kremlin's spires. Panic gripped the city as civilians fled eastward, fearing the brutality of a German occupation. The Soviet government, led by Joseph Stalin, prepared for a last stand. Stalin, initially paralyzed by indecision in the face of the German onslaught, rallied and appointed General Georgy Zhukov to oversee the defense of the capital. Zhukov, a brilliant strategist, organized a multi-layered defense system around Moscow. He ordered the mobilization of fresh troops from Siberia and the Far East, seasoned units hardened by years of fighting the Japanese. The arrival of Siberian troops, coupled with relentless counterattacks, marked a turning point in the battle. The German offensive, already stalled by the weather and fierce resistance, lost its momentum. German soldiers, exhausted, frostbitten, and demoralized, were pushed back from the outskirts of Moscow. The counteroffensive, launched in early December 1941, shattered the myth of German invincibility. The Battle of Moscow was a catastrophic defeat for the Germans. It marked the furthest extent of their advance into the Soviet Union. The failure to capture Moscow, a key objective of Operation Barbarossa, exposed the fatal flaw in Hitler's strategic thinking. He had underestimated the Soviet Union's resolve and capacity to resist. The victory at Moscow provided a much-needed boost to Soviet morale and marked a turning point in the war on the Eastern Front.